Why Kenya's rise threatens Ethiopia more than war ever could. A war can break a country, but a rival's rise, that can reshape an entire region. And right now, Kenya is not just rising, it's racing ahead, and Ethiopia is watching closely. Hi, I am Iman Farid, and this is Analytica Today. East Africa is shifting, and not with think tanks or treaties, but with trade, tech, and diplomacy. Kenya just overtook Ethiopia as the region's biggest economy. That sounds like numbers on paper, but this shift could impact everything from ports to power, peacekeeping to partnerships. We are breaking down why Kenya's quiet climb might be Ethiopia's biggest threat yet. We are breaking down why Kenya's quiet climb might be Ethiopia's biggest threat yet, and why this matters, not just for East Africa, but for the continent. Let's break it down. In April 2025, the IMF confirmed it. Kenya is now Africa's sixth largest economy, leapfrogging Ethiopia. GDP, Kenya's hit $132 billion. Ethiopia's at $117 billion. The shilling up to 21%. The birr in free fall, losing more than half its value since Ethiopia floated it. Inflation and Addis is beating. Investors nervous. Meanwhile, Nairobi is hosting forums, sealing tech deals, and rocking in global confidence. This is not just economics, it's a regional dominance redefined. Ethiopia placed its bets on factories, Kenya on fintech. Ethiopia's industrial parks like Hawassa once drew global praise. But civil war, investor flights, and instability hit hard. Kenya, meanwhile, doubled down on Silken Savannah. Today, M-Pesa anchors 55 billion mobile money market. Startups are booming, and Nairobi is pulling in venture capital from Silicon Valley to Shanghai. Ethiopia's reforms, ongoing but fragile. Kenya's digital sector already cashing in. While Ethiopia mends internal wounds, Kenya is everywhere. President Ruto is on the move from Paris to Riyadh. He's fluent in the language of climate, capital, and cooperation. Kenya is now a key US and NATO ally, a darling of Western donors, and host to major UN and AU events. Ethiopia is still respected, still powerful, but its credibility was bruised by Tigray war, by internal arrest, by slow reforms. Soft power matters, and Kenya is rising. Here's the thing, this is not just about who gets the foreign aid or the investor's handshake. It's about who moves good, sets standards, leads peacekeeping missions, and wins diplomatic loyalty. Kenya's Lab State projects already linking Nairobi to South Sudan, Ethiopia, and even the Indian Ocean. Ethiopia's Berbera port deal with Somaliland, promising but politically risky. Even militarily, Kenya is becoming a regional hub for training, counterterrorism, and diplomacy. This is not a military race, it's a policy war, and Kenya is winning by design. Now, don't write Ethiopia off. It has the second largest population in Africa, a useful workforce, massive potential in agriculture, energy, and exports. The African Union still sits in Addis. The Grand Ethiopia Renaissance Dam could power a future industrial boom. But here's the warning. Every year, Ethiopia spends managing internal divisions. Kenya is locking in trade routes, digital dominance, and regional loyalty. Influence is not just about potential, it's about momentum. And right now, Nairobi has it. So why does Kenya's rise threaten Ethiopia more than war ever could? Because war is loud. You can prepare for it. But quiet competition shifts alliance, drains capital, and rewrites influence, while you're still watching the front lines. Kenya and Ethiopia were once the twin engines of East Africa. Kenya and Ethiopia were once the twin engines of East Africa. Today, one is in gear, the other is reviving. Today, one is in gear, and the other is still reviving. But this is not zero-sum. If Ethiopia stabilizes reforms and reclaims trust, it can catch up. But time is not on the sideline. I'm Iman, and this is Analytica Today. If you give something to think about, hit the subscribe button and let us know, do you think Ethiopia can close the gap? Next up, Rwanda's mineral diplomacy. Is Kigali quietly building Africa's next rare earth empire? Stay tuned.